Europe's leading sailing circuit arrived in Cagliari for a week of spectacular sailing action on the Gulf of Angels. 13 teams from 9 nations, the world's sailing elite, out to win the 2008 Audi MedCup. The Gulf of Angels, Cagliari, Sardinia hosts the 3rd stop in a tour that takes the Audi MedCup fleet around Europe. Over 5 months, the circuit visits 6 premier locations in Italy, France, Spain and Portugal. Competing are America's Cup veterans, Olympic champions and world title holders, all gathered in Cagliari's historic port to win the Region of Sardinia trophy. Round 1 of the tour belonged to Monaco's Mean Machine, which dominated in Spain, winning 5 out of 9 races and the City of Alicante trophy. America's Cup winner Russell Coutts, with Larry Ellison on USA 17, excelled in the heavy airs of Marseille. They won leg 2 of the tour, then exited the series to concentrate on America's Cup commitments. Marseille's Mistral took its toll. In 30 seconds of high drama, 3 boats were knocked out in collisions. At the top mark in race 6, Argentina's Matador was rammed by Monaco's Mean Machine.
At the top mark, we were hit by Mean Machine, causing us a big hole on the port stern of the boat.
In a separate incident, Spain's Caxe Galicia destroyed her bow, slamming into Chile's Mucho Madrilena, knocking them both out of the regatta.
It's a big collision. Our bow area is very damaged.
Despite the carnage, all 3 teams managed to make the start line in Sardinia.
The boat only finished the repair job 2 days before they arrived here.
The damage to Caxe Galicia was so extensive, the team had to hire Spanish boat Tal in order to compete in Cagliari.
The 3 years before, we always on the top, and now we have to work for that.
The collision shattered both boats and confidence. Mean Machine's Peter de Ridder rattled by his first crash in a career of competitive sailing.
I looked at the collision afterwards, and I saw that it was only dead. Let's say 40 centimeters. And then I thought, that's my first big collision ever since I was a helmsman. And I gave the helm to one of the other guys I made. I can't find my groove. Whatever I do, the boat is not going. So please take over.
Spain's Brevon arrived in Cagliari as the team to beat.
We're confident that if we can keep sailing at the same level we have been, then we can keep mixing up these guys. But we're under no illusions that it's only going to get harder from here on as the guys understand the new boats better and better, and they get themselves sorted out. And they've definitely got a small advantage in some conditions. The differences aren't big enough to win them a race, hands down.
The forecast for the week was for classic sea breezes, and they arrived as scripted for the first 2 race days. Dean Barker's prediction that the newer boats would become harder to beat started to come true. Mean Machine needed to get her mojo back and got the perfect start. By winning 2 of 3 races on the first day, Peter de Ridder was back in the groove.
Everybody was happy on the boat, myself included. Especially after a bad event, you think, you're still thinking whether you're still able to sail well. So, this result gives us the heads up, and we're happy and looking forward to the rest of the racing.
USA's Quantum dominated day 2. By winning both of the day's races, they applied real pressure on the leader's Mean Machine, who finished with a slender 1-point lead after 5 races. A feature of the Audi MedCup circuit is an all-day coastal race worth double points, which turned out to be a tactical challenge. Italian America's Cup ace Vasco Viscotto took the early lead and never looked back. Second place Brevon continued to attack Mucho Madrilena throughout the day, but there was no catching Viscotto. The main race was further back in the field between Mean Machine and Quantum. Quantum spent most of the day in 4th, Mean Machine in 5th. Finished like that and they'd be tied on points. Mucho Madrilena led around the entire 32-mile course, winning both stages and maximum points, a morale-boosting victory.
We are waiting for this result since a long time. The guys did a fantastic job on the boat. They changed the sails nicely. We have a nice start. Flavio drove the boat really well, and that's the result.
Terry Hutchinson stayed ahead of Mean Machine, so for the first time in the series, USA's Quantum moved to the top of the leaderboard. A very different Gulf of Angels greeted the fleet on day 4, 30 knots of Mistral producing a rugged day for the fleet. Paul Kayard took the early lead on El Desafio, only to be overtaken by Vasco Vescotto, whose luck ran out when their spinnaker exploded, handing the lead back to Kayard. With gusts of 30 knots, the boats reached speeds of 23 knots surfing downwind. Even the world's best were tested. Sweden's Artemis clawed through the field to lead on the final downwind leg and take their first win in Cagliari. With the wind at 30 knots and rising, racing was abandoned for the day, meaning Quantum edge out to a 4-point lead from Mean Machine, while Mucho Magdalena take over third place from Bribon. It all came down to the 5th and final day, a head-to-head between Quantum and Mean Machine. With the Mistral still blowing, Terry Hutchinson won a crucial victory in the first of 3 races, extending Quantum's lead to 7 points. But in the next race, Mean Machine bounced back, leading around the course until Sweden's Artemis overtook them on the final leg. With Quantum 6th, Mean Machine was back in the game, just 3 points in it. In the final race, defending champions Artemis took an early lead, while Quantum kept a weary eye on Mean Machine. While Artemis and Mucho Magdalena battled at the front of the fleet, the fight for the trophy was behind them. At the gate, Mean Machine was 3rd and Quantum 7th. If things stayed that way, Mean Machine would win. But Terry Hutchinson's team fought back. It all came down to the final run of the final race. Sweden's Artemis finished with a flourish, taking their 3rd win. Mean Machine charged home for 3rd, but Quantum surfed past El Desafio on the final leg. Finishing 4th was good enough for Quantum to win their first regatta in the 2008 Audi MedCup.
At the moment we crossed the finish line, it was probably a little bit of a sigh of relief. Mean Machine put us under a lot of pressure. All grins for the next 12 hours at least, and then we'll get back to work tomorrow and figure out what we're going to do to make the Quantum racing boat better for next regatta.
Quantum collected the Breitling Trophy for the best elapsed time over all 10 races in Cagliari and the Audi Region of Sardignia Trophy. Plus, they displaced Bribon as the overall leaders of the 2008 Audi MedCup circuit.